right, guys, our guest tonight is one half of Red Dragon, the current Ring of Honor and IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Bobby Fish. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Like I said, I can't complain. We got you here tonight, my friend. Listen, Ring of Honor's final battle comes in New York City for one of the biggest pay-per-view events of the year. Red Dragon is squaring off against the Time Splitters, Alex Shelley and Kushida, in a match for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. You and Kyle O'Reilly beat the Time Splitters for the IWGP titles in November. How much did you learn from that match and your previous matches with those two, and how will you use that knowledge to successfully defend those titles moving forward?
At this point, we would call this the rubber match. We faced them at the Seibu Dome in Japan. We also took the IWGP Junior titles from them, as you said, on our last visit over to Japan. So this will be match number 3. We've split the series so far. So yeah, this is a rubber match, and it's home turf. I mean, they're coming to our backyard, and are there any language limitations in this?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I mean, we are by far the hottest goddamn thing in professional wrestling right now, and when it comes to tag teams, you simply just don't get better than Red Dragon. And unfortunately for the Time Splitters, the rubber match will be contested on our home soil. But it, like I said, it wouldn't make a difference. We could be doing this in Europe, Mexico, Canada. It honestly doesn't matter. When you step into the ring and across from you is the two-man smash machine, man, you're fucked.
There you go. I thought you asked me if you could curse, and then you said goddamn. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to say goddamn after asking me if he can curse. Unbelievable.
Mike, no, I was going to sneak that F-bomb in there.
Thank you, sir.
It was a slow build.
It was a slow build. You really did it. You did it well. I'm very proud of that. Mike,
you got to let it simmer. You can't just go for it. That's improper use. You got to learn how to place things properly.
You're telling a story. It's just like wrestling. It's just a little different. Mike, you got next question?
Yeah, Bobby, even though you've only been together for 2 years, Red Dragon has quickly developed into one of the world's best tag teams, like you said. If you could, talk a little bit about how your partnership with Kyle first came to fruition behind the scenes, and why you feel like you two have such great chemistry.
Yeah, man, it's a lot like serendipity. It's not something that happens often, but when it happens, it's friggin' magic. And Kyle and I came together through Ring of Honor. We had history with one another previous to that. We'd known each other for a few years. Paths definitely crossed a couple of different times. More times than not, we were standing on opposite sides of the ring. And then in Ring of Honor, we had an opportunity to put this thing together. It was something we discussed, and it made sense for everybody. So we set out, and I would believe that the only expectations we've not exceeded were that of our own, because we knew from the jump that this was going to be something special. And I don't think that there's a real strong argument that can be made for anything that would contradict that. I mean, this thing, to do what we've done in 2 years. I think when I was somebody brought up some of the numbers to me previous to this conversation, and other than the Briscoes, we are second in almost every category within the company when it comes to a tag team. And man, what it took the Briscoes, I don't know, some 10 years to do, Kyle and I have nearly eclipsed it in 2. So it speaks for itself. And I got nothing but respect for Mark and Jay, but the fact is that it just does not get any better than the best team on God's green, and that's Kyle O'Reilly, and that's me.
BG?
Bobby, can you explain to us the challenges of working as part of a tag team as opposed to a singles wrestler? Do you find it's more difficult to connect with an audience as part of a tag team, or is it easier?
I don't find it difficult to connect with an audience in any capacity. I think when you are a seasoned performer and you know how to go out there and do what it is that we do, It doesn't matter to me whether I'm in a group of 10, I'm in a team of 2, or I'm out there on an island by myself. Connecting with an audience is something that you develop. So some people, it comes a little bit more naturally for. So there can be varying degrees of that as far as difficulty. But for the most part, you pick it up or you don't. As far as working in the tag team at this point, and I'll attribute this mostly to Kyle, the fact that our chemistry is so good because of the fact that it's Kyle. I never had chemistry like that with another partner. I think he would tell you the same thing. So it's kind of that spontaneous, the elements, certain elements react well to one another and others don't. They contradict. With Kyle and I, we just work.
One of the reasons why Red Dragon has connected so well with many fans is the MMA influence on your team. How did the concept of implementing MMA nuances in your team come about, and how do you feel the crowd is reacting to you and O'Reilly and your unique style?
Mixed martial arts in general. I mean, mixed martial arts wasn't even a term a few years ago, but martial arts has been a lifelong pursuit for me, and the same can be said for Kyle. We've studied various disciplines, continue to study some. I tend to be a little bit more towards the striking element, and Kyle's a bit more of a grappler. So it was something that before we became a team, we were doing already. Now as a team, I think you see it's even more prevalent because of the fact that we bounce off of one another. So I now generate better ideas because more times than not, if I'm throwing things against the wall, he will help me put something together that maybe I couldn't finish on my own, and vice versa. And in that way, we kind of bounce off of each other, which works perfectly in a tag team situation, which also leads to a fair amount of double team opportunities that we tend to infuse that mixed martial arts or martial arts element into, which I don't think you've seen a lot of other teams do. I think you've seen, I mean, back before mixed martial arts was even a thing in the United States, Ken Shamrock would have been painted with that brush, right? And he certainly had elements to some of his work. But I don't think in the States anybody's really put together that influence into a tag team the way that we have. And I think that's what makes us special, and it's part of what makes us special and why we stand out.
Mike Chiari?
Speaking of MMA, yourself and Kyle have had the opportunity to work a bit with UFC star Tom Lawler in ROH. How was your experience working with Tom? And do you feel like it's benefited you and Kyle in terms of maybe gaining some more mainstream recognition?
I think it definitely did. I mean, right off the bat, there was some coverage on TMZ. That's something that pro wrestling doesn't always enjoy, especially in that kind of coverage tends to come to pro wrestling when it's negative, and this was nothing but positive. Tom was awesome and continues to be awesome in any of the interactions that we have with him. We still keep in contact with him to this day. It was almost like he was the missing Freebird for us. Tom fit perfectly. Due to some contractual things that I'm really not at liberty to speak on, we thus far have only had the one opportunity to get the Freebirds together, and we'll see. Hopefully, there's a chance down the road. But yeah, to answer your question, I think definitely when you get coverage from TMZ, which like I said, is generally only for something negative, that you would have to answer yes.
BG?
Do you find your MMA background has changed the way you approach a wrestling match? Is it different than perhaps other wrestlers who don't train MMA?
I definitely think so. I think for some people, they may, how do I put this? Some people may see things and think to themselves, okay, hey, I would like to apply this, or I would like to try this. And within a pro wrestling world, sometimes you have creative freedom to try different things. Me personally, I try not to venture into waters that I have no business being in. You know, there's so much when it comes to martial arts and specifically mixed martial arts, because the disciplines at this point, it's not like the old school UFC where it was style versus style. I mean, now you've got to cover all your bases if you're going to fight mixed martial arts. For me, if I'm going to introduce something from that world into pro wrestling, it's something that I've studied, it's something that I've drilled, and that I've trained 1,000 times over. It's something that I feel I have expertise in, and I have technique in. Therefore, I will throw it into the pro wrestling ring. I guess what I'm trying to say is I try not to fake the funk on that stuff. You're not going to see me pulling out moves that I haven't drilled, that I haven't trained. I think there are some others within our industry that maybe don't follow that code, and it is what it is. It's apples to oranges. People have differing opinions, but I think Kyle and I keep it pretty close to the vest when it comes to that, and that's why I think our stuff looks the way that it looks, and other people's work looks the way theirs looks.
Well, listen, you have predominantly been a tag team wrestler for much of your career. Do you have the urge to break out on your own and chase a world championship, kind of in this vein of like an MMA fighter fighting on his own? Or is winning tag team championships in wrestling around the world your ultimate goal?
I want to have fun. I want to make as much money as possible. I have 2 children at home. You know, I've got a family to support. This is real world for me. This isn't spending money on the weekends. So for me, I chase the love of this business, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't chasing money as well. And you have to. And I think the dream for all of us is certainly to be able to support yourself with what you love to do, and that is pro wrestling for me. I am enjoying myself right now more than I have at any other point in my career, and a lot of that is due to Kyle and what we've been able to do together. I love what we're doing right now. I've had a chance to allow the influence of guys like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard really come out in the work that I'm doing at this point in my career, and I don't want to step away from that. But at the same time, yeah, man, there's always a desire to pursue singles titles and singles career money. There's a multitude of things. I'm just enjoying the ride for what it is right now, and let's see where it takes us. I don't think anyone, as we said before, saw Kyle and I, even when we put this thing together, being where we are right now. You know, 3-time Ring of Honor champion, arguably the best doing it right now, and IWGP champion. So I don't know. I don't want to make any predictions. I'm just enjoying what we have before us right now. I think Kyle would tell you the same thing. If an opportunity to do something outside of tag team wrestling came up, neither one of us would shy away from it. Certainly not.
Mike Chiari?
You've had the opportunity, obviously, to work with many of the best tag teams in the world as part of Red Dragon. But if you and Kyle could face any past or present tag team that you haven't gone up against yet, who would you like that to be and why?
Man, I brought up Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. I can't stress enough how much their work has influenced my work to this day, and my desire to be known in a certain ilk when it comes to tag team wrestling. As a kid growing up, I was a huge Dynamite Kid, huge British Bulldogs fan. I don't think anybody who loves tag team wrestling could deny that they were captivated by the Legion of Doom. God, man, there's just so many. I mean, the Midnight Express. Man, the Fantastics. When I was a kid, they had some no pun intended here. They had some fantastic matches. God, I guess I'd put at the top of that list Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard.
PG?
Bobby, how has being a professional wrestler changed the way you approach watching wrestling as just a fan?
I think that for me, there are times when I need to separate the person who works within the industry and the fan, and allow myself to be that fan, because it's very hard on this side to just be a fan sometimes. But at the end of the day, we are all fans. We all started that way. We are, every professional wrestler for the most part is still a fan. But yeah, the eye that you watch with can be so critical at times. I think for me, part of the reason why I don't tend to watch my own stuff very often is because of that, is because of that critical eye where as a fan, you're a bit less critical. And sometimes it's much more enjoyable to watch without such a critical eye. And you can't always make that separation, but at least here and there, I make a conscious effort to.
Okay, Bobby, final question of the day, and this is something we've asked a lot of the guys we've had on who are from tag teams. We've asked Jeff Hardy this and stuff. It's an ongoing battle amongst hosts. Is it Legion of Doom or is it Demolition?
As far as who's better?
Best in the world. It's got to be if you had to, you're a wrestler, who are you going to face tomorrow night? You're going to face Legion of Doom or you're going to face Demolition?
Legion of Doom.
Oh,
man,
good.
It's not even a contest.
Yes.
I'm always getting my balls busted on this show for being a Demolition fan.
Listen, I will state it proudly, as if you couldn't tell by some of the names I brought up before, but I'm an NWA fan. I think some of the greatest wrestling that's taken place in the industry was late 80s NWA, Crockett. That for me, man, the ascension of the Great Muta in '88, and there are just certain things still just stick out in my mind that captivated me as a fan. And man, when it comes to, and I'll go even further. I'm going to call them the Road Warriors.
That is nice. This is all playing right into my hand here. This is fantastic. They hate all of this, and it's fantastic.
He's more into Crusher Khrushchev than Demolition Smash.
No.
I'm on the side of Legion of Doom.
Wow.
Amazing. Listen, Bob, thank you thank you for coming on and being interviewed by us, and two, thank you for coming on and settling another age-old debate between us. Listen, don't forget Ring of Honor's Final Battle on pay-per-view Saturday at 7:30. Another huge thanks to our guest, Bobby Fish, for coming on the show. Let the fans know where they can show support for you on the internet and buy your gear and all that stuff.
Well, first and foremost, not to be redundant, but yeah, Final Battle, man, it's coming up this weekend. And top to bottom, it is a stacked card. Red Dragon will defeat the Time Splitters for the third time. You don't want to miss that. It is available on pay-per-view. If you can't be in the area, January 4th, we head over to Tokyo, Japan one more time, and we will be participating in the Tokyo Dome show for New Japan Pro Wrestling. That, too, will be available on pay-per-view here in the States. And this is not something you're going to want to miss. It's a four-way tag scramble for our IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Straps. And as far as catching up with me, I'm on Twitter. The Bobby Fish. That also links to my Facebook, I think, or however some of that social media hubbub works. And you can catch me there on Twitter. I do a little bit of merchandising there and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So whatever you're looking for, get at me on Twitter, and I will I'll do my best to respond.
Awesome. Listen, another big thanks to Bobby Fish. Thank you for your time, and good luck this weekend, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the gesture. However, Red Dragon does not need luck. We are the best team on God's green. We are the baddest team on the planet. And you need to tune in to Final Battle this weekend and watch us continue to make history when it comes to tag team wrestling.
Amazing. No better way to end it right there.